Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. But before we jump on in, I just want to ask, how's everybody doing? What do you guys think the market's going to do? I'd love to hear from your thoughts, or I should say I'd love to hear from you guys on your thoughts around the market and also about your day. So with that in mind, when we talk about the overall market right now on the 24-hour span, we're not seeing too crazy movement. Like, we are seeing a few altcoins up, single digits to even a double-digit figure jump from storage. On the 7-day span, it's a little bit more significant on like things like convex finance and things like that. Yeah, I mean, in regards to the overall market though, I'm not expecting too much price action going forward. I was actually expecting this week to be a little bit more volatile than it, has been. But hey, I welcome all types of price movement. It doesn't really matter. I'm just really kind of sitting here playing, both sides of the road, meaning, I'm basically taking some positions, averaging in, playing it safe, but also kind of just waiting for lower price action if we do see that. But in regards to this market, I actually did tweet out this tweet saying the media is paid to keep retail out. You will not change my mind on that. That's why most retail investors become exit liquidity. They get in at the worst time because media pushes crypto near the top. Now, I tweeted this because I was actually looking at a few things. So first off, I just looked up crypto in regards to like the news. I got sent like this thing in my email about like crypto crashes like this percentage, where's the next major leg down or so. It was from like I guess like an email subscription that I have, but it was talking more so about like the bankruptcy around Voyager and things like that, which I think is just kind of playing into the emotions around this market anyways. But it really kind of made me think. And what was that? Well, it was me really kind of looking at, the mainstream media attention. Yesterday, we just talked about CNBC. Funny as we, talk about CNBC, we actually see it here. But yesterday, we talked about CNBC in regards to like Squawk Box with Jim Cramer and like how these individuals are so bearish on crypto at like the worst times, right? Like, now is not the time to be bearish on crypto. Now's the time to really kind of sit back, analyze the technology behind it, and understand the fundamental success that it will have. But when we look at like, mainstream media, like they will continue to say like, all right, well, sell pressure is going to continue to build up because, underwater Bitcoin miners are starting to sell. Again, it's all playing into the fear mongering. Remember, if you guys were here during March of 2020, it was the most bearish time in crypto, even since the bear markets beforehand as well. It was more bearish than those. But you've seen, CNBC talking about how bearish things were. Like, this first one is actually after things started to bounce back. But we do see like over $26 billion wiped off of cryptocurrency market in 24 hours. We do see down here like cryptocurrencies see a $93.5 billion wiped off of the value in 24 hours as Bitcoin plunges 48%. Robinhood goes down again, causing clients to miss out on another historical trading day. And again, like also like centralized exchanges and places that you could buy, they're also the worst places to try to buy crypto during times like that because again, similar to, making, a major purchase on a historical bottom, again, these places do go down, like Robinhood for an example. But again, you could definitely see like the mainstream media attention around it. Like, even if I went to like Crypto Crash, for an example, there's a few other like, major outlets that were talking about it. Right now, I'm just getting like a whole bunch of like, Cointelegraph and stuff like that. But we also do like see Forbes, here's what caused Bitcoin's extreme price plunge and stuff like that, which is just kind of, dishing into like the idea around it. But you also did see like mainstream individuals like Jim Cramer, for an example, talking about the crypto crash. Again, I use these news outlet media, companies as an opposite trade effect. But also, talking about XRP, we actually do have this video. Now, this is from Zoe Cruz, who was the co-president of Morgan Stanley, now at Ripple. Listen closely to this. I think that this is actually pretty interesting.
The top 5 to 10 crypto assets, cryptocurrencies. And to me, saying I'm only going to put Bitcoin, I'm only going to invest in Bitcoin because it's the current winner, or the digital gold, as they call it, is equivalent to say that in the early 2000s, you're only going to invest in one internet stock. And I don't need to tell you whether it's social media, Facebook didn't exist by and large. I mean, Netscape was the browser of choice with 75% market share. Google is the leader now, and Netscape doesn't exist. So to me, it's the equivalent thing. I don't know. There will be winners and losers, but I wouldn't want to have Bitcoin end up being the Netscape of your investment opportunity. And again, the way I look at that diversification, each of those currencies was designed differently. It has underbellies, all of them do, but it also has clear winner characteristics in the alley that they chose to compete in. So Bitcoin is the digital gold. So when I talk about diversifying, it's the idiosyncratic risk of that particular cryptocurrency. So the pluses and the minuses of Bitcoin, digital gold, the oldest, it made a lot of people rich. So you have a lot of passionate people that would, be very good at defending it and its construct. Its underbelly is actually, it costs a lot of energy. And I don't need to tell you, ESG, environment, social governance, is the new thing. The bigger the blocks, the more successful Bitcoin becomes, the more that's an issue. XRP is the alley it has chosen. It is the leader in that class. Is basically the cross-border payment system.
And she goes on to mention, the cross-border payment scene around like XRP, for an example. But what she mentioned is actually pretty, realistic. Like when we look at Bitcoin, for an example, and we look at like XRP, why would you just invest into either one? Like just into one of them? It makes no sense. Like that's why I also diversified, like even outside of XRP. Like I'm in other assets. But I think that she's basically trying to hint at the idea that like, listen, like Bitcoin tomorrow, could go to zero. It could. I mean, do I think that it's a highly probable, chance? Not really. I think that Bitcoin will always be here. I think that David Schwartz also mentioned this as well. But it is something interesting when you look at like, for an example, like Netscape, and then what came from Netscape was like Google and things like that. Again, this is going to be a very monumental time in history. But also talking about XRP and talking about like Bitcoin and things like that, I do have this tweet from Jungle C XRP, or Jungle Inc. Sorry, XRP. One XRP all-time high is very high, and most coins still have not matched that market cap to date, even at peak 2021 bull run. XRP is essentially illegal on U.S. market. Lower liquidity and volume is not name of the game. And bad luck and bad timing. You just have to wait. Now, the reason why I bring this up is it's something interesting, right? When we look at the all-time high for XRP, like here is the historical snapshot going back to 2018. Sorry, I was going to say 2017, 2018's all-time runs. But here we have XRP. Now remember, XRP was at number 2. And it wasn't that far behind Bitcoin. It was only about $100 billion behind Bitcoin. It was like 136 to be an exact, or 146 to be an exact. Now, at that moment in time, XRP had a circulating supply of 38.7 billion. And we look at this, and we also like even compare it to like Ethereum, for an example. Like here's Ethereum right under it, number 3, by the way. All right, and XRP had a little bit over almost like $19 billion in market cap over Ethereum. Now remember, Ethereum's all-time high this run was $4,910. Now, if I share with you guys XRP, if we would have had that same run, we would have been at about roughly $12.15. And I asked the question, right? Would you be happy with a $12 XRP? Because personally, like I would love that. But the reason why I bring this up, and the reason why I share with you guys this, is actually going over to the charts. So here's Ethereum, okay? Now Ethereum topped out at the 1414. And the interesting thing around this is a lot of people will laugh at XRP. Oh, well, it's in a legal battle, so, it's never going to go anywhere. I share with you guys the XRP lawsuit inception, December of 2020. So here we have, November. We're kind of just ranging here. Now here is the inception of the SEC lawsuit on XRP. Ethereum for that month was roughly about $718. Now, in regards to XRP, let's actually go over here. So, obviously, from December of 2020, altcoins, including Ethereum, took off massively. And here we have December. This is the same exact candle, by the way, this one, of where we were basically looking at Ethereum on the December 21st. Like, it's December 21 because it's the weekly candle. So it's the weekly candle of the of December 21st, 2020. And when we look at XRP during that same time, it did the complete opposite. Now, where would XRP be if it wasn't for that inception of the lawsuit? Because we probably would have traded sideways in between like 60 to 70 cents, and then we would have took off and had this massive historical run. Now, we could basically assume that, all right, well, if it had, a little bit more of a market cap than Ethereum during 2017, 2018, we could have been at around roughly a price range of $12. In my opinion, I think that this is actually pretty safe to say. I mean, we look at Ethereum hitting a 1414 topping point exact, by the way, and we look at XRP on the macro, and here we have the 1414, $15.55. Mind you, a lot of individuals were in XRP at around that time frame of 2020, and a lot of people got hurt. But we'll say like maybe this bottom range here at like 22 cents was your average buy. This would have been a 68.5x opportunity run. Now, the reason why I bring this up and the reason why I talk to you guys a little bit about this is because remember, right? When we look at XRP and we look at the potential behind XRP, I do believe that we could have easily have seen the $10 to $15 range way before any time that we're thinking about in the future now. Meaning, when we look at the run from like April, for an example, that April topping point at almost $2, that would have been our $10 to $15 range on XRP. And I think that that is actually pretty safe to say, like, that's a great opportunity for XRP, because this would have been off of the March 2020 dropping point at around this range. It would have been roughly 400 days almost, all right? So in 400 days, if you would have bought back in March 2020, obviously, we'll just say like your average is around like the bottom candles here, as this gave you a ton of time to accumulate. This would have been a 100x opportunity, and the SEC basically hurt every individual that did invest into XRP during that time and stopped them from making 100x gains. And I'm not saying like, we didn't make some pretty nice gains. We made about roughly a 13x, but 13x in 400 days, while other altcoins, including even Ethereum, by the way. So if we go off of Ethereum's March of 2020 lows to the topping point, for an example, we'll just go off of like the middle here in terms of like a buy range that a lot of people were able to get into. This thing did a 40x opportunity. And when we look at that in regards to like the runs to the side by side, like you could definitely tell that price action was completely stifled. Now, remember, right, when we look at what's happening within, the SEC lawsuit, okay, to me personally, this is almost over. And it's almost over at the perfect time as well in regards to Flare launching. Jed McCaleb is running out of, of course, his stack on selling XRP. And it's actually looking like a pretty good, future for, XRP. We see over here, again, they're talking more so about, cryptocurrencies and how individuals are actually disqualified from working on regulation that could have a direct and predictable effect on the value of their personal holdings by a government watchdog in regards to U.S. officials actually looking at cryptocurrencies regulatory standards, which I think is actually pretty interesting. This is very funny because, again, we do see up here in 2018, an SEC lawyer could own XRP. There was no policy similar to the one involving securities. Why? Because they weren't considered securities. Even though an enforcement lawyer could own XRP in 2018, the SEC claims Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson were reckless in 2013. Again, the time frame is extremely rough here. And even going back over to this initial tweet where we were seeing like Ripple started looking for new lawyers when it became clear that Ethereum 2.0 would be delayed another time. And of course, Like, we just seen two new lawyers from Ripple's side, come into play. And a few people have, speculated on this. We do see like Jeremy Hogan, for an example, saying adding, research attorneys for summary judgment motions. They're bringing in reinforcements to the XRP lawsuit. It doesn't really matter to me. Like, I think that this could be huge in the response on like where this is going to head to. I think them bringing on more lawyers is actually going to benefit them greatly. But also, it plays perfectly into what we have been saying. Like, everything is aligning perfectly for the next major run-up on XRP. We don't know exactly when that's going to be officially. In regards to like if we're in a bear market full on confirmed, our bottoming stage on XRP was like around this range here. Like, I always kind of share this with Ethereum just because we actually have like a full-on bottom point that we can kind of go off compared to like March of 2020. This was like, sorry, let me go off of the dropping point here. Like, this was almost like a 94% drop. I know it's not exactly accurate, but in regards to like the date time frame, this was about 343 days. And if we're going off of the topping point going back to April, which I don't think that we should really go off of that. Like, we're long overdue if we're going off of that. But to me personally, like, I go off of the November timeframe moves, and I know that this was not a new all-time high on XRP. You got to remember, like, XRP is still extremely stifled in regards to like price movement and volume as well, similar to what Jungle Inc. did say over here. So I kind of go off of Ethereum in regards to this aspect and really kind of go off of the November topping points. But if we're following that same exact time frame of the 343 date range, our bottoming stage on this market will be around October of 2022. And I think that this is something, really, I would say it's more accurate in regards to like a lot of people saying like, all right, well, we're just going to continue to pump from here on out and go to like 100K on Bitcoin and all coins are going to go crazy. No, I actually think that we're playing perfectly into this range. And this is actually going to play perfectly right into the November timeframe. Remember, we talked about that settlement date in November. So if we could see a bottoming point around this range and all of a sudden regulations come into play all around ISO 222 going live with Flare, that is a perfect opportunity for a major catalyst event for XRP to actually run up above this 1414 level. Remember, this is like the $15 range. The 1618 is up here at like the $32 range, $32 range, sorry. And then after that, like, we don't really know where it could lead to. But I will say this. My range has always been the $10 to $15 range, and this is exactly why. Like, when we compare and contrast them two side by side, you could definitely see, like, how massive of an opportunity XRP actually was and the upside potential on it. But, again, the SEC came in at the perfect time and, rained on our parade, if you will. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As it's up to you all, have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.